What's up, guys? This is going to be the part one of a multi-video series. As you can see, there are two Subaru Imprezas behind me. One of them is the main focus of this series. We are going to resurrect and rebuild my old Ken Block car, as it's kind of come to be known, and I can show you why. This car was originally put together from basically scraps for a fun winter beater. Got the car for free from a friend who had gotten it for free from another friend, so it's been around for a while, and as you can see by the massive hole in the fender, the years have not been nice to it. So yeah, like what started out as just a fun winter beater, kind of got went a little off the rails with this Ken Block inspired paint job. Inspired off the Gymkhana 3, I believe it was, Ford Focus, and it's just kind of continued to improve from there over the years until the rust really took over. As you can see, it's pretty bad. There's literally nothing left in this car that's worth saving. I was lucky enough in 2013 to bring the car to the New England Forest Rally and actually met Ken Block and showed him the car, and he thought it was actually pretty damn cool, and he signed the roof. And for that reason, the car just can't be left to die. It's gonna have a new life, which is going to involve removing that roof skin to save it, because that's the only part that really matters. Everything else, the paint job, the decals, blah blah blah, that can all be reduplicated onto the new car, but the signature is key. That has to be saved. So the plan is to remove the roof skin, which isn't that hard, and transplant it onto the new car. So go ahead and talk you through the power plant here. This was, like I said, this car was originally put together out of scraps. So it's a 2.2 naturally aspirated block, using 2.5 single overhead cam heads from, say, 1999 to 2005. It's currently got a 16G turbo, the big top mount intercooler, warm air intake, or whatever you want to call it, HGS blow-off valve. It's very basic. It ran 17-18 pounds of boost, so I never actually dynoed it, but the butt dyno said it was probably around 275, 285 horsepower to the wheels, which was definitely a lot of fun. This car I used to break two naturally aspirated 5-speed transmissions per winter, going out and hooning around in the snow. So after a while, I got really tired of piecing those together out of scraps and found a deal on a STI 6-speed that had blown up transfer gears. So I bought that, repaired it, and put that in the car, and it's been fantastic ever since. The short ratios are great, made the car a lot more fun. You're probably also noticing that is not a dashboard from a 1993 Impreza. Originally, the entire car was running off of a 1992 Legacy Turbo ECU, which I repinned onto the factory 1993 Impreza harness, and then just added the necessary boost and other sensors that were related to run that ECU. And that worked pretty well. It was very crude. There was no tuning, obviously, so it was kind of, you got what you got. I had a Super AFC in it, and it ran probably 3 or 4 years like that without any real issues. But at one point I parted out a 2005 WRX wagon and was like, well, I'm not doing anything with the wiring, so took the entire car apart, used the '05 wiring, and kind of just repinned everything so the lights worked, the doors worked. It had the full automatic climate control. There was no air conditioning, obviously, because the car never got driven in the summer. And then I was able to tune it with a Cobb access port. So we used the Stage 3 off-the-shelf map for VF39 and STI fuel injectors, and that worked much better. The car had way more power, it ran way better, it was a lot more fun, and again, original motor, the 2.2 NA, held up just fine. And when I say this car was abused, I mean it. This car got a lot of abuse, like constant rev limiter, just beating on it and beating on it and beating on it, and it never had any issues. I did the hydraulic handbrake, which put in line with the rear brakes, so there's no external reservoir for that. Just ran right off the rear brakes, and that worked really good for you know, sliding around in the snow and having fun. So yeah, the front brakes are from an Evo 7, the Evo Brembos. You have to do a little re-drilling on the factory hubs, but they do fit. And then those are '04 STI rotors. That was more of an aesthetic upgrade than anything else. They you don't really need gigantic brakes for tripping around in the snow, but they look way cooler than the original calipers, and they work really well. So yeah, that's the very basic rundown on this car. And I guess we should turn the attention to the replacement car, which is this 2001 body, and it is, when I say it's rust free, I mean it's rust free. I have not seen a GC Impreza that was this clean for many years. These cars did not hold up well to rust and salt and corrosion, and they just disintegrated. But this one is perfect. So it's the perfect candidate to swap all my good stuff: wiring, transmission, ECU, engine, suspension, has all that over to this car, including the roof skin, which will be swapped from that car to this car. And then obviously the paint job replicated, which I am not looking forward to. That was a lot of work and a lot of taping, but in its day the thing looked really cool. So yeah, so the new car and the old car, my Subaru Forester plow vehicle back there. I'll do a video on that sometime. It's kind of cool. So yeah, so this car, I have not even put it in the shop yet. I haven't looked underneath it. So we're gonna go ahead and get this car in the shop and get it on the lift and kind of see what we're working with here. All right, so we got the new car up in the air, and like I said, this thing is a time capsule. This car has 37,000 miles on it, and you can tell it's completely original. It's completely rust-free. Like, I have not seen one of these cars this nice in a long time. When I say these cars rusted, like, they didn't just rust, they disintegrated. New England was not nice to these cars. They did not have proper rust proofing from the factory, and they did not hold up. So the fact that this one is so nice, it makes it the perfect candidate to rebuild my car. Because if I undercoat it right and get all inside the panels, the quarters, the rockers, everything, and undercoat it with fluid film and whatever other rust preventatives, it should last a long time. I mean, the original car wasn't rust-free when I built it, and it lasted 10 years before it really got bad. That car hasn't been on the road for 5 or 6 years now because of the rust. And you can see that whoever pulled this thing out of wherever it was sitting did a big no-no, and they towed it off the lateral links, which are not rugged whatsoever. But that all doesn't matter because I'm replacing the entire subframe anyway. This is drum brake, and that's no bueno. You want discs, so I have an entire O2WRX cross member with discs already removed from another car that's ready to go in. Yeah, so transmission, differential, engine, all that's coming out. Front cross member will be replaced with O2WRX for the knockout for the up pipe for the turbo. And yeah, just been sitting a bit. Last inspection sticker was 2011, so it's definitely been hanging around for a bit, not getting subjected to the New England salt, sand, and rust. So should be really easy to take apart. So I'm not going to be complaining about that. Nice and simple. I think the plan is going to be rear suspension on this car, pull the motor, pull the transmission, swap the front cradle, and then pull the other car in, pull the motor and transmission out of that. At the same time, swap all the suspension over, struts, springs, and that stuff, the brakes. And then probably the interior, pull both interiors, get all the wiring out of the first car and get it situated to go into the second car. Dash, all that. And then the roof skin, which is gonna be a project, but I don't think it'll be too bad. Swap the roof skin over, and then paint. So paint will be last. Paint is the most fun. It's not fun at all. I hate painting. I hate masking. I hate taping. I hate all that. But what are you gonna do? It's got to get done. And yeah, so stay tuned for more.